A lion doesn't need to roar to prove it's a lion. Sigma ladies, real power isn't loud, obvious, or performative. It's quiet, unshakable, and undeniable. While some try to fake confidence, independence, or mystery, the truth is Sigma energy cannot be imitated. It's not about playing a role. It's about who you are at your core. Today, we're breaking down 11 Sigma female traits that are impossible to fake, the qualities that set you apart, draw people in, and make you untouchable in ways most don't even understand. These aren't just behaviors you can copy. They're deeply ingrained mindsets, instincts, and habits that only true Sigma women possess. If you're here, it means you already see the difference. So subscribe to the Sigma Lady and become part of a movement that values quiet strength, razor-sharp intuition, and the kind of confidence that doesn't need validation. Now, let's get into it. 1. The unshaken core. A Sigma woman's core is made of something unbreakable. While others mold themselves to fit expectations, trends, or group dynamics, Sigma women remain untouched by external forces. This isn't about rebellion, it's about authenticity. From an early age, Sigma females learn that the world is full of pressures to conform, to seek approval, to fit into preset roles. But while others compromise parts of themselves to gain acceptance, Sigma women don't. They refuse to trade their identity for belonging. This kind of strength isn't loud or boastful. It's internal, deeply rooted, and impossible to shake. This doesn't mean Sigma women don't adapt. In fact, they are some of the most flexible and capable individuals in any setting. But adapting isn't the same as losing yourself. A Sigma female will adjust to situations without ever compromising her core values, principles, or beliefs. Because of this, they often stand out, even when they're not trying to. Their ability to remain steadfast in who they are, regardless of outside influences, makes them magnetic. People sense their unyielding nature and either respect it or feel intimidated by it. Either way, it's not something that can be faked. You can pretend to be independent, but when the pressure rises, the truth always comes out. A real Sigma woman never folds under pressure, never lets others dictate her choices, and never allows circumstances to change her essence. That kind of unwavering self-possession, it's either real or it's not there at all. 2. The art of tactical silence. Some people talk to impress, others speak just to fill the air. A Sigma woman does neither. She speaks with intention. Every word has weight, and every silence is a choice. The ability to remain silent when needed is one of the most powerful traits a Sigma woman possesses. Silence isn't just the absence of words. It's a strategy, a statement, a form of control. When a Sigma woman doesn't respond immediately, people notice. They start questioning, anticipating, overanalyzing, because society is used to people oversharing, reacting, and seeking validation through words. A Sigma female never speaks just for the sake of it. She doesn't waste words trying to prove her worth or explain herself to those who will never understand her. This is why, when she does speak, people listen. Tactical silence also allows Sigma women to observe. While others rush to respond, Sigma females sit back and watch. They read between the lines, analyze people's real intentions, and absorb information before making a move. This makes them incredibly perceptive, something that gives them an edge in both personal and professional settings. Many try to fake this kind of composure, but forced silence is easy to spot. People who pretend to be mysterious often overdo it, staying quiet in a way that feels awkward, staged, or unnatural. Real Sigma silence is effortless. It doesn't come from wanting attention. It comes from the confidence of knowing you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. 3. Adaptive, yet uncompromising. A Sigma female is a master of adaptation, but never at the cost of her identity. She can step into any environment, blend in when necessary, and navigate different social situations with ease. But unlike others who adapt to fit in, a Sigma woman never loses herself in the process. This balance is one of the hardest traits to fake. Many people mistake adaptability for people-pleasing. They believe that being flexible means being agreeable, changing opinions to match the crowd, or molding themselves to be liked. Sigma women do none of that. They adjust to circumstances, not to seek approval, but to achieve their own goals on their own terms. In a professional setting, a Sigma woman can work well with different personalities. She's not rigid, nor does she demand that things always go her way. But while she can shift her approach, she never compromises her principles or alters her core personality. Socially, this makes her stand out. While most people unconsciously adjust their behavior to match those around them, Sigma females maintain a strong sense of self. They don't pretend to be something they're not, nor do they force themselves to fit into a group just for the sake of belonging. This trait is difficult to fake because it requires a deep understanding of self-worth. Most people struggle with balancing adaptability and authenticity. They either bend too much, losing themselves in the process, or they become so rigid that they struggle to function in new environments. A Sigma woman walks the line effortlessly. She moves through different spaces like a chameleon, but remains entirely, unapologetically herself. The magnetic aura of mystery. Some people try to appear mysterious by withholding information, playing hard to get, or acting distant. But true mystery isn't something you create, it's something you naturally radiate. Sigma women possess a presence that intrigues people without any effort. This is because Sigma females don't live for external validation. They don't overshare, they don't seek attention, and they don't feel the need to prove themselves. This makes them unpredictable in the most fascinating way. When you meet a Sigma woman, you don't immediately understand her. There's a depth to her that keeps people guessing, wanting to know more. What makes this trait impossible to fake is authentic detachment. Many people try to create mystery by being vague, secretive, or playing mind games. But that's manipulation, not real intrigue. A Sigma woman's mystery isn't calculated. It's simply a result of the way she moves through life, selectively, privately, and with a quiet intensity. Her energy is what draws people in. She doesn't flood social media with personal details. She doesn't reveal her every thought in conversations. And she doesn't feel obligated to explain herself. This doesn't mean she's closed off or unapproachable. When she does choose to share, it's meaningful, deliberate, and powerful. This is why people can't stop thinking about a Sigma woman once they meet her. She doesn't just leave an impression. She leaves an open question, something unresolved, something that lingers in the minds of those who cross her path. And that's not something you can fake. 5. Natural lone wolf energy. A Sigma woman doesn't isolate herself for attention, nor does she avoid people because of insecurity. She thrives alone because that's simply where she functions best. While others need constant social stimulation, validation, or companionship to feel complete, a Sigma female is perfectly whole on her own. This is not the same as being anti-social. Sigma women can be incredibly charismatic when they choose to be, and they are fully capable of forming deep, meaningful relationships. However, they don't need those connections to feel fulfilled. Their solitude isn't forced, it's natural, effortless, and fulfilling. Most people struggle with being alone. They fear silence, boredom, and their own thoughts. A Sigma woman embraces them. She finds strength in solitude, using it as a time for reflection, creativity, and personal growth. She doesn't depend on external noise to distract her from herself. She knows who she is and is comfortable in her own company. This trait is impossible to fake because it comes from a genuine sense of inner peace. Some try to act like lone wolves, pretending to enjoy solitude while secretly craving attention. The difference is clear. A fake loner complains about being misunderstood or isolated, while a true Sigma woman chooses solitude and flourishes in it. Her independence is undeniable. She doesn't need a crowd to feel important, a relationship to feel complete, or constant communication to feel connected. She moves on her own terms, answers only to herself, and never compromises her self-sufficiency for the sake of fitting in. And when she does choose to let someone into her world, it's because they genuinely add value, not because she's afraid of being alone. 6. Unshakable emotional control. While others react impulsively, letting emotions drive their decisions, a Sigma woman remains composed. She doesn't explode in anger, break down under stress, or let small provocations shake her. She understands that power isn't in the reaction, it's in the restraint. This isn't about being emotionless. Sigma women feel deeply, but they refuse to let emotions control them. They have an incredible ability to stay calm under pressure, analyze situations rationally, and respond with purpose instead of impulse. Many people try to fake emotional control, but cracks always show under stress. Someone pretending to be unbothered might hold it together in minor situations, but the moment real pressure hits, their facade crumbles. A Sigma woman, on the other hand, is naturally built for high-stress situations. She doesn't react to petty drama. She doesn't let temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. She doesn't break down when faced with adversity. Instead, she steps back, assesses, and chooses her next move strategically. This level of self-mastery is intimidating to many. People are used to emotional reactions. They expect outbursts, insecurity, or the need for validation. When they encounter a Sigma woman who doesn't give them that, they don't know how to handle it. And that's exactly why this trait is impossible to fake. True emotional control isn't about pretending to be calm. It's about having the inner discipline to remain composed no matter what. 7. Confidence without noise. Most people mistake confidence for volume. They assume that the loudest person in the room, the one constantly talking about their achievements or asserting their dominance, is the most confident. But real confidence, Sigma confidence, is quiet, effortless, and undeniable. A Sigma woman doesn't need to announce her presence. She doesn't need to prove herself to anyone. She walks into a room with a calm, self-assured energy that demands respect without a single word. People feel her confidence before she even speaks. This is what makes her so compelling. Unlike performative confidence, which is often fragile and dependent on external validation, Sigma confidence comes from within. She knows her worth, her abilities, and her potential. She doesn't seek validation, nor does she shrink herself to make others comfortable. She simply exists as she is, unapologetic, sure of herself, and entirely self-sufficient. This trait is impossible to fake because forced confidence always has cracks. People who pretend to be confident often overcompensate. They seek attention, react aggressively to criticism, or crumble under pressure. A true Sigma woman, however, remains steady in all situations. Whether she's praised or criticized, whether she's surrounded by people or alone, her confidence remains unchanged, and that's what sets her apart. She doesn't need external approval to feel worthy. She doesn't need attention to feel important. Her confidence isn't performative. It's real. 8. Zero interest in the power games. While most people are obsessed with social hierarchies, status and influence, a Sigma woman simply doesn't care. She's not interested in climbing ladders, proving herself to authority figures, or competing for attention. She operates outside the system entirely. This is one of the hardest Sigma traits to fake. because society conditions people to care about status. Whether it's in friendships, workplaces, or social circles, most people are constantly seeking validation, positioning themselves strategically and playing mind games to gain power. A Sigma woman, on the other hand, finds all of that exhausting and pointless. She doesn't chase recognition or approval. If she's successful, it's because she earned it on her own terms, not because she played by someone else's rules. If she holds influence, it's because people naturally respect her, not because she fought for a position of control. Her detachment from power dynamics is exactly what makes her so powerful. People who don't crave status are the hardest to manipulate. They can't be bribed with recognition, influenced by flattery, or controlled through fear of losing their place. A Sigma woman is free from these constraints, which makes her incredibly unpredictable and often intimidating to those who thrive on dominance and control. This trait is impossible to fake because most people secretly crave power. They want recognition, influence, and validation. But a Sigma woman? She's content with just being herself. She doesn't compete because she doesn't need to. 9. Unbreakable mental resilience. Life throws challenges at everyone, but while most people crack under pressure, a Sigma woman absorbs the impact and keeps moving forward. She doesn't break, she doesn't fold, and she doesn't let setbacks define her. Mental resilience is one of the rarest traits a person can have. It's not just about staying strong in good times. It's about remaining unshaken even in the worst situations. A Sigma woman faces obstacles head-on, processes emotions without letting them consume her, and finds a way forward no matter what. What makes this trait impossible to fake? Simple. Resilience is earned, not performed. It's built through experience, struggle, and a mindset that refuses to surrender. People who try to fake toughness often crack when faced with real adversity. They talk about being strong, but the moment they encounter genuine hardship, their facade crumbles. A Sigma woman, on the other hand, doesn't need to act tough. She simply is. She's been through enough in life to know that struggle is temporary, emotions are manageable, and nothing has the power to break her unless she allows it. She doesn't overreact to difficulties. She doesn't fall apart when things don't go her way. Instead, she assesses, adapts, and comes back stronger. And that's the difference. A Sigma woman isn't unbreakable because she's never faced hardships. She's unbreakable because she's faced them all and refused to be defeated. 10. The ability to see through people. A Sigma woman reads people like an open book. While others fall for appearances, charm, or empty words, she sees what's beneath the surface. This is one of her greatest strengths and one of the hardest traits to fake. Why? Because real intuition isn't something you can learn overnight. It comes from a combination of sharp observation, life experience, and an innate ability to read energy, body language, and hidden intentions. A Sigma woman doesn't just hear what people say. She listens to what they don't say. She notices the pauses in conversations, the subtle shifts in tone, the inconsistencies in people's stories. She picks up on micro-expressions, underlying emotions, and the energy a person carries before they even speak. This makes her incredibly difficult to deceive. Manipulators, liars, and fake personalities don't stand a chance with her. She doesn't call them out right away. She simply notes what she sees and adjusts accordingly. She knows exactly who's genuine and who's pretending, and she acts accordingly, often before the other person even realizes they've been exposed. People who try to fake this level of perception often rely on guesswork or overconfidence. They assume things about others based on stereotypes or personal biases, but their judgments are flawed and inconsistent. A Sigma woman's ability to see through people, however, is precise, refined, and rarely wrong. And that's what makes her so powerful. She knows who's real, who's fake, and who deserves access to her world. 11. The unwritten presence. A Sigma woman doesn't need introductions. Her presence announces her before she even speaks. There's something about the way she carries herself, the quiet confidence in her demeanor, and the unmistakable energy she radiates that makes people take notice. This isn't about appearance, status, or reputation. It's not about being the loudest, the flashiest, or the most outgoing person in the room. A Sigma woman's presence is powerful because it's authentic, effortless, and entirely her own. People often describe it as an aura or an energy. They feel it when she walks into a space, the sense that she's different, that she's in control of herself, and that she doesn't need external validation to feel important. This is what makes her unforgettable. Even after she leaves, her presence lingers in people's minds. What makes this trait impossible to fake? True presence isn't something you create. It's something you embody. It comes from deep self-awareness, confidence that doesn't need to be spoken, and a mindset that refuses to shrink for anyone. Some try to replicate this by forcing an air of mystery or acting overly detached, but forced presence is easy to spot. People who try too hard to seem important often come off as arrogant or unnatural. A Sigma woman, on the other hand, doesn't try at all. She just exists as she is, and that's enough. That's why people remember her. Not because she demands attention, but because her energy speaks louder than words ever could. Sigma ladies, if you recognize these traits in yourself, you're not just different, you're rare. You don't seek attention, but you have it. You don't demand respect, but you command it. You don't play by the rules, but you always end up ahead. And if you don't see these traits in yourself yet, remember this: you can't fake Sigma energy, but you can build it. Every trait we talked about comes from self-awareness, discipline, and a mindset that refuses to conform. So tell me, which of these traits do you resonate with the most? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Sigma Lady for more insights on living life on your own terms. Until next time, stay sharp, stay rare, and never let the noise break your silence.